Hey guys, this is Sarah with Raven's Crochet. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much. If you are a new subscriber, you are now one of my yarny friends. I am coming at you today with a tutorial. I'm not going to be showing my face on camera today. I'm exhausted, don't feel like putting on makeup. I've been doing some chores the last couple of days and then resting. And I've been playing with this cranky knitting loom, which I will show you guys in an upcoming video. I'm here to show you guys how to do a basic granny square and a basic granny square half triangle, or whatever they're called. I always forget. Like a half square granny triangle. It always confuses me because it's not a square. It's the granny stitch in a triangular pattern. So I'm going to be using this just Premier worsted cotton yarn. Excuse me. Acrylic yarn. This is from Dollar Tree. You can also get this on Premier's website for $1. This is a worsted weight acrylic yarn. 131 yards. They come 120 meters, 2.11 ounces, 60 grams. There you can see it clearly says 100% acrylic. They recommend a 5mm hook, which I'll be using a 6mm hook because that's one of my favorite go-to sizes for 4 medium worsted weight yarns, especially when working with the granny stitch because it's so much faster. And this yarn is great because it's not only soft, it's been tested and approved against 350 harmful substances. It's got that OECO text, standard 100, at least 100 chemicals have been tested, but it says 350 here, so I just go with the 350 plus. Manufactured for Premier Yarns. And it's made in Turkey. And this is the color Rose, also known as Mauve if you get it from Crafter's Secret Yarn at Michael's. If you get it from Ice Yarns, it is called Dark Rose. And Red Heart Yarn calls this colorway a Cameo. I've done a comparison about those different yarns, so I'm just going to pull from the center here. May end up with some yarn barf, but yep, that's okay. Yarn barf. It's inevitable. If you're going to crochet and play with yarn, any kind of fiber arts, it's just inevitable. One of the downsides, but the end result is always so much better. Okay, so I keep my crochet hooks here in a bucket. I keep these on my coffee table. See if I can get them in the viewfinder. All of my hooks. I keep all the smaller ones in this smaller cup. My bigger ones all the way around. There's the hook I'm wanting to use, and the yarn just particularly happened to grab it. This a tulip hook. This is actually 6.5, so we're going to go down another. Here's another tulip. This is a 6.6mm. That's the one I want to use right there. I'm trying to get my camera to focus, and clearly it cannot. I still have yet to transfer my over to my new phone, but you know, both technology here. So I like to do, this is how I wrap my yarn around my pinky, and then up here around my index finger, and then there's the end. I literally just twist this into a knob like that, into a loop. Make sure I'm still in the view, yep, and then I just start chaining. There's the first loop. Make sure it's kind of loose. You don't want it too tight. And then I chain 3, and then I double crochet underneath 2 loops, go into this first chain, and I go underneath 2 loops. I hope this lighting is okay. I know the shadow of my phone is right over me because my overhead light is right over me, but I have the kitchen light on over here, and I apologize for the background noise. That is my dishwasher. So we've yarned over and we've gone underneath 2 loops. So you got 4 loops on your hook, and then you draw through those 2 loops, draw through 2, draw through 2. So that's the chain 3. That's going to count as your first double crochet, and then we've done our second double crochet here. So yarn over, go in the exact same stitch underneath 2 loops, and we'll do another double crochet. That's one section of the center of your granny square. Now we're going to chain 2 for the corner, and now we're going to do 3 double crochet in the same loop, And at this point, the way it's angled, you're not going to have 2 loops on your hook, you're just going to have 1. But this tail, I work over this tail. So now you have 2 loops over your hook. Chain 1, go through 2, go through 2, go through 2. There's your first double crochet. Let's do 2 more double crochets. That center stitch. Bring your tail over. And I still weave in my tail at the end of the product just to make sure it really doesn't come out. 2 double crochet. Let's do 1 more. There we go. Pull up this yarn. It's dragging on the floor. We've got 2 sections done in the center of our square. Let's chain 2 more for the corner. And 3 more double crochet in that center. And I'm just like at this point tucking the tail behind my work now. There's 3 sections done. Chain 2 for the corner. Into that center stitch. You see where we've been working our needle. 1, 2, 3. Now don't forget that 4th corner. We got 3 sections, and we got 4 sections now. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 3 corners. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. This is what I do at every single corner. Don't chain 2 for this last corner. Chain 1, and then go into your first double crochet, which is actually your chain 3 that we started with. There's the 3rd one, the 2nd one, and the 4th, the 3rd one, the first one that we did, the 3rd one, the 2nd one, and the 1st one that we did, which is the top of the chain 3. We're going to do a single crochet. So we chained 1 and then did a single crochet to complete that corner. I just think it gives it a nicer look. I got this tip from Christa at the Secret Yarnery, and I've practiced doing different granny squares in different techniques, and this is my favorite method because I love to start in the corner. You can't see the seam as much, and yeah, I'm just going to show you the basic granny square. But there's 2 options, and I like to do both options depending on whether I'm working with a solid yarn or a multicolored self-striping or variegated yarn. If I work with a multicolored variegated yarn, self-striping, whatever, if it's more than one color, I work the same row, the same side all the way around. This is a solid yarn, so I'll be flipping this back and forth with the completion of every single row. And to me, it makes the granny square look neater, it lays straighter, the sides are more even, and it makes it reversible. A reversible piece of fabric that can easily be turned into cardigans, blankets, scarves, shawls, whatever. So now that we've done our first round, and then this last corner we did a single crochet, we chained 1 and then we did our single crochet. I'm going to flip my work just like that. I'll do it again. We completed the first round. We did a chain 1 and we did a single crochet. Your hook is still in your work. Flip your work just like this. Chain 3 for your first double crochet. And then do 2 double crochets right here in this corner. Right here in that corner where we ended, there's the space in between the double crochets. You've got 3 double crochets here, 3 double crochets here. Go right into that space, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2. One more time, do another double crochet. There's the first section. Now some people like to chain 1 in between these clusters, but I don't. You can if you want some more drape, if you want some more slack in your work, but you don't have to. I don't, because it saves me more yarn. It gives me more yarn to make a bigger granny square. So I do not chain 1 in between, but you can if you want to. So I just immediately yarn over and do 3 double crochets in this next space. We always work our granny square clusters in these large spaces. 3 double crochets together, that is a cluster. So now we're at the corner. We're going to chain 2, 3 more double crochets right in the same space. Now you can chain 1 again if you want to over each cluster. You can chain 1, but I don't. I just immediately yarn over and do my next cluster of double crochets. And here we're at the corner again. Chain 2, 3 more double crochets in that corner. Chain 1 if you want to go over that cluster, but I don't. I just immediately do 3 more double crochets in the next space, because that's how I roll. We're at the corner again, chain 2, 3 more double crochets, and 3 more double crochets. Here we're at the last corner, about to complete this round. 3 more double crochets. Now for the corner, for the last corner, again I like to chain 1 and then find the top of that chain 3 that we did at the beginning of the round. So here's the 3rd double crochet we did, the 2nd double crochet, here's the top of the chain 3. Try to get 2 loops on your hook because it just looks better. It doesn't matter any loops, just get 2 loops. Or you can work directly in between the stitches too. That's your preference. You can work right in between the stitch, but I prefer just to grab 2 loops, and I just wedge it against my fingertip. There, I got 2 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. That completes the round with the single crochet. I flip my work just like this. Chain 3, and then 2 double crochets right here. Make sure you're going in between these clusters and these clusters, that cluster and that cluster, and there's the corner space. We're just going to double crochet right in there 2 times to join that chain 3, and now there's your first cluster. Chain 1 if you want to hop over, but I don't. I just immediately double crochet some more, and I need some more slack here. Please and thank you. I'm going to go ahead and complete 4 rounds with you here and just chit chat here for a minute, because I want to get to the point to where I can show you how to build up your sides in case you want to make a water bottle slinger like I showed you guys in my other video. It was the day I went to the fair. And I love water bottle slingers so much. They're so handy to use. One less thing you have to carry. Even if you have a 1-liter bottle, it's still somewhat lightweight. And as hot as it gets in the summertime, late spring, early fall, they're still really handy to use. And they're very convenient if you have like a small snack you want to put in there, if you have room on top. Because the yarn does stretch, and the water bottle slingers can become a little bit longer over time. And sometimes you can make room to put like a sandwich in there below your water bottle, or maybe a bag of chips or something. You know, you're walking around, the food's not going to get crushed that bad. I apologize if I came out of frame here. Let me move this back some. There we go. Please leave a comment for me if you have any complaints about this video, if there's something I could be doing better. This is like my 3rd attempt at making a decent tutorial. I got a brand new phone stand. It has like a sturdier neck, and I can maneuver the phone camera however I see fit. You know, I have an extra light, which I don't have it here with me now. That little bitty light that has like 3 modes. Chain 2 for the corner, and continue on. I about broke my neck trying to bend the phone down in a position where I would like, because my hands keep getting close to my body and I'm getting out of frame. Bend that down some more. Okay, that's better. So let me know if you have any complaints about this video, if there's something else I could be doing better. Any suggestions or comments are always welcome. Of course, don't be too harsh, you know. You guys are still so sweet and nice. But let me know if you want me to do anything differently. I'm at the last cluster, the last corner. I'm going to chain 1, single crochet in that, and the top of that, chain 3. So now I've done 3 rounds. I'm going to turn my work over. See, I just kind of flip it like this. Take the bottom, flip it, and now it's over to the right. I mean, to my left hand side. That's the left. And just flip it over like this. Bam. And then I do chain 3. And continue on. Sometimes I make a mistake of doing 3 double crochets right here and forgetting about that chain 3 space. And if you get all the way around the row and you find that mistake when you come to close the last corner, just leave it. I've just left it. No one's gonna know. Even us crocheters that have been crocheting more than 20 years, we still make mistakes. No big deal. And you always learn something new. I had a lady message me one time. She'd been crocheting for 50 years. And she learned a few things about my techniques crocheting, and the tips, of course, have been very helpful to many of you, which I'm really happy about. Tips are always helpful. They're really great shortcuts for making the job easier. So I'm not chaining one over these clusters. I'm just immediately double crocheting the clusters in each space. I don't like that extra step. To me, it's a waste of yarn, and I think the granny squares come out just fine with the drape that they have. Also because I use a bigger hook than what's recommended on the label. So that's actually not a bad tip. If you want to save some of your yarn, maybe you only have like a limited amount of yarn for that particular project. You wish you had more type thing. Don't do any chain one spaces, just use a bigger hook. Of course, that will make your project and your gauge swatch much bigger, but like everyone recommends, do a gauge swatch with a bigger hook and without chaining any spaces, and then do your measurements and see if you'll have enough yarn, which you probably should, hopefully. That's what I would do. And then, of course, if you don't have enough yarn, get a complementing color to go with it, or a variegated, or vice versa, a solid if there is a similar color in the other yarn that pairs nicely with it. So I'm going around doing a granny square. I love doing these granny squares. These are great for scrap projects, for real. Use some scrap yarn to practice making granny squares. Here I'm at the corner now. Corner, corner, corner. Granny square corner. My granny square, it has 4 corners. 4 corners is my granny square. And had it not 4 corners, it would not be a granny square. Okay, so there's 4 rounds. Now, this pattern I got from Fiber Spider, excuse me. The link has been in my description box for many, many, many videos. There is a part 1 and a part 2. It is the Granny Square Market Tote Bag or something like that. And he will mention in his video, part 1, you have to have an even number of Granny Square clusters on each side in order for this method to work. Now you're going to need stitch markers. Let me go grab them real quick. If you were beginning and doing this for the first time, you have to have stitch markers. Otherwise you're going to mess up. You're going to have to frog your work, and you're going to have to go back, and that's just a lot more time. So I don't need stitch markers, particularly on smaller projects like the water bottle slingers, because I've made enough of them, I know, just to stop. But for the sake of this video and to teach Shawl, you're going to need at least 4 stitch markers. I should have already had these out, but it's my little bag I like to keep my stuff in. My little travel bag or whatever. So I like to use these because they stay open when you want to put in your stitch, and then they easily lock into place. They're strong and sturdy. So take a look. We've got 1 cluster, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So in the very center space, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Make sure you put a stitch marker in the very center. This is the space we are going to skip. We're not going to work in these spaces. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Stitch marker in that center space. Do the same thing on every side. If you need to, you can fold it in half. There's the center. There's that space in the center. You could do that too if you're working a bigger piece. When I did the market tote bag, I did 10 rows of the granny square for the bottom, and then I put it, and so then I had 10 clusters all the way across, and I had 11 spaces. So in that center space, which would make it 6 from the corner, 6 from the corner, put a stitch marker, and that reminds you to skip over that area. So we are going to resume our granny square like normal, just like normal. I'm going to flip my work over, and just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to keep flipping my work. Now, if you're making a bag, you're making a water bottle slinger, you don't have to flip your work over like I've been doing. I just did that because if this were to be a blanket, you do not need these stitch markers. Just keep flipping your work every single round and keep going. So I'm going to go ahead and just stop flipping my work over. This looks pretty enough for the bottom. We'll make this the outside, and our tail is been kind of buried, but there it is right there. That's the inside. I'll leave that tail there to the very end so I remember that this is the inside of my project. There's the outside of my project. So now we're just going to continue on around. I'm just going to chain 3. I'm not turning my work, I'm just chaining 3. I'm going to do my 2 double crochets. Make sure I'm in that corner there. There's my first cluster. I'm going to immediately do 3 more double crochets in the next space because I do not chain 1. Now the stitch markers here, that means we're not working in that, so we're going to skip over that and then just go right into the next and do 3 double crochets for that cluster there. Come on, keep going. Get some more slack here. Then we're at the corner, so we're going to do the same thing as usual. The only difference with this now is we're skipping one of those spaces. Oops, I did a half double crochet. Let's fix that. Chain 2 for the corner. 3 more double crochets. 3 more double crochets. Oops. Going a little too quickly here. Okay, the next space is clear, no stitch marker. We're going to work our next cluster. Okay, uh-oh, stitch marker, we can't work there. Alright, so we'll just turn over, work on the next one. I love these tulip stitch markers. I mean crochet hooks, by the way. These stitch markers I think are actually clover. Yeah, these are clover stitch markers. You can't see it there, but well, maybe clover. So I love clover branded stuff. They make really good stuff, and it's worth the money too. I just try to find them when they're on sale, or make sure I have a coupon when I find them in the store. Chain 2 for the corner. Next cluster of 3 double crochet. Next cluster of 3 double crochet. There's another stitch marker. We're going to skip over that. Do the next cluster of double crochet. Next cluster in the corner. Always do the corners the exact same. 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in that same corner space. And we got another empty chain space here. Do another cluster of 3 double crochet. Get some more yarn slack. There's another stitch marker. We'll skip over. Work into the next one. Work into the next space between clusters. And now here we are at the end of the row. I'm going to do our typical 3 double crochet cluster. Come on, cooperate. Thank you. Then I'm going to chain 1 and do a single crochet into this corner to complete the row. So, okay, now we're going to lay this out. Now you can see how it's taken the shape of a bowl. So now what you want to do is you can leave your stitch markers here for about 2 or 3 rounds, because these, make sure, I mean, it's also a good idea to make sure they're different colored stitch markers on the yarn you're working with. So that way when I go around, I'll chain 3, do my first cluster here in the corner space, I'll go around and I'll skip this right here. But if it helps you, go ahead and remove the stitch marker and move them up with every single round you do. I move these up after I do 2 or 3 rounds, just because I can still see the blue stitch markers in my work, and because I'm used to making these so much, I don't have to do this every single round. But just keep working your way around just like that, skipping these spaces in the center, and make it as tall as you want. For doing the water bottle slinger, I did 9 rounds up on the side. I did 4 rounds on the bottom, just like we did, and then we started doing the sides. So that makes round 5. I did 13 rounds altogether before I added the strap, handle strap. And I will show you guys how to do the handle strap right here. And I'm going to actually show you the half granny square triangle in another video. Since we're already onto the water bottle slinger, I don't want to confuse you guys and make this video go over, because we're already at 26 minutes. So I'm going to show you real quickly how to do the strap that I did. Chain 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 8. And then do a slip stitch in this corner space right here, in the very next corner space, just slip stitch. And then I also single crocheted it just to make sure it would have some extra stability there. Slip stitch and then a single crochet, because it kind of looks like that over there. You can do 2 slip stitches if you want to, but that's just what I did. And then turn your work. And I'm going to end this video right here because I'm almost out of time. I don't want this video to cut off, so I'm going to say bye. And thank you so much for watching. Here in this next video, I'm going to show you, I'm going to pick up right from here and show you how to do this stitch, which is the stitch I was using in my velvet scarf for my grandmother. And then I will show you guys how to do the half triangle granny stitch. So thank you guys so much for bearing with me. I apologize for that knocking noise. That was my dishwasher. I hope you guys are having an awesome week, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Bye-bye.